Play Rugby USA was founded 10 years ago. Started working in schools in New York City in 2006 and came to LA in 2010. And the mission of the organisation is developing youth through rugby.
What are the age groups that you work with Play Rugby?
We just literally added a rugger tot section in New York for 4 to 6 year olds, but primarily in the schools during after school time, we're working from 8-year-olds up to 18, and in LA we're currently elementary and middle school with a view to adding high school probably next year.
What is the connection that you see and that your program brings about with youth sports and academics?
Yeah, we've done quite a lot of work on this, and most of the work we've done is really around behaviour change and character development. We're able to measure certain things with regard to obviously attendance and students' attitude and behaviour, and survey students, parents and teachers around that. What we found is that the kids exhibit a lot of characteristics that have been proven through research to enable them to graduate high school. What we have to do now is follow them through and see how many of them do graduate high school. But we know that from the surveys with parents and kids that 71% of the kids elementary and middle school level in the program are doing better in school academically.
Why do you think that is? What is it about youth sports that helps with academics, vice versa?
I think there's two pieces to it. One is I think the sport provides a bit of a carrot. It's a bit of an incentive for the kids to engage them. And I think any opportunity you have to engage kids in something fun is an opportunity to set expectations around behaviour and around how they interact, and around the fact that they have to be there and be present and be sort of switched on. I think then the second part is that actually sports is the vehicle as well. And through how you coach and through how your curriculum is designed and through how you can reinforce behaviours and translate what that means on the field to off the field. I'll give you one very simple example. We talk a lot in rugby about going forward, because in rugby it's the only sport in the world where you've got to get the ball to the end of the field, but you're not allowed to pass it forward. So you have to go forward, you have to run forward. But we define go forward as striving to learn, to improve, to experience personal growth and to never give up. And that's what it means off the field. And so the kids hear this terminology on a regular basis and they start to then apply that off the field. And we've seen that now in countless examples of kids at all age levels throughout the program.
Rugby obviously is not necessarily a common sport in America. How has that been in terms of introducing a sport like rugby to youth who are perhaps unfamiliar with it?
Yeah, I would say nearly all of the kids we've worked with in LA and in sort of the inner city schools in New York were completely unfamiliar with it, to the extent they probably wouldn't have known how to spell it initially. Look, it's new, it's different. We know how to go and engage the kids and get them excited about it by playing fun games with the rugby ball. And I think the key thing is it's completely inclusive and it's a level playing field for everybody, because none of them have played it, and that provides an opportunity for every student to make their place on the team. And I think that because it truly is a level playing field, and in fact in flag rugby there's not even positions. Everybody has to run, catch, pass, tag and score, and because they all have to do that in a very continuous version of the game, they're engaged individually but they're engaged as a team and they bond as a team. And I think that is the key thing that really then keeps the kids hooked. As soon as they play their first tournament, they're hooked, because they've been attracted to it because it looks fun, but then they've absolutely got committed to it because they've had to be an integral part of a team.
How do you see the growth of your organization? How do you see that moving forward? What are your goals with the kids on this?
The most important thing first is to provide pathways for the existing partners that we have. So in New York, we've partnered with 200 organisations. In LA, we've partnered with 100 already just in 3 years. And that's a lot of kids. And we want to make sure that all of those kids that have been part of the programme have an opportunity to move up from elementary school to middle school to high school. And in a school-based model, which we have during after school hours, that's always challenging because kids might move from one school to another. So that would be the first thing that would be important, to give kids an opportunity to continue to play before we worry too much about expanding more broadly. But then we would, once we've got those pathways, we would like to try and replicate the model in some other cities. So we've done New York, LA, and San Francisco now. So obviously that requires funding to do, but if we can get that funding, we know how to develop partnerships and how to develop pathways. And then that's obviously just opening up opportunities for other kids in other cities that otherwise wouldn't have that chance.
One other question. You've now done this for quite some time. What have you learned that's been most successful? What have you learned that you want to change in terms of things that haven't gone successful that you've learned?
Most successful is delivering and designing and constantly reinventing the program intentionally to achieve specific outcomes, not just to be there to have fun, run around and play, which has its own benefits, but to really work out what it is you want to be getting at. And for us, that's three things. One is that we help kids develop their character to be successful in school, and would measure that by graduation and going to college. Secondly, that they're going to be healthy and develop long-term healthy habits. And thirdly, that they become leaders and really active in their communities. And they're the three tracks that we really focus on developing through our rugby curriculum, through our coaching and through our training. And I think designing the program intentionally and then developing partnerships with joint expectations and buy-in from the school and from us to get there. So programs and partnerships are the two things we've done really, really well, and I think we really understand. The challenges, I suppose, the things that we've struggled with a little bit, and I think lots of non-profits are in the same boat potentially, is that we see so much need and we have a desire and to try and deliver for that need and provide opportunities to kids, and that can tend to expand the program sometimes too much, and we haven't necessarily got all of the resource we need to support the program, which the things like paying for people in the office, So I think we've gone through phases of probably over expanding a little bit too much. So that's more of a business thing, but the programming part and the partnerships part, we really got buttoned up. So that, I think, is the core of what we do, and as long as we keep doing that well, hopefully things will work out well long term.